Hello.
Hi, Mario.
We had almost the bottom of 7b, the Mishnah. Jorge.
Hi.
Good evening. Hi.
Hi. So
I may have to.
we're on Zion Amud Bey 7b. Nishmat habarzel mikato. A person is using an axe, chopping wood, and the blade flies off of the handle. Boharag. Rebbe Yomer and Gola. Rebbe says it's not a case of Golas. Now, mina eitza mitbaka. Let's say a person is chopping the tree, and a wooden fragment from the tree flies off of the tree and hits somebody and kills. So Rabbi Yomer Gola, and that's the case Rabbi says that the Torah is referring to, which gets Golus. The Chachamim Omer Eina Gol. Tanya. Amar Rabbi Chachamim. V'chinemar v'noshala barzel me'etzo. It doesn't say that the blade fell off its wood. V'halo lo nemar elamin ha'etz. Which Rebbe is learning is when you use an axe and you chop a tree and a wood flies off of the tree and kills, that's when you get gold. V'od. Rebbe has a second argument.
Sorry, how far are we down? Sorry.
So we're just Zion Amud Beis. We did the Mishnah.
Right.
And we're talking about using an axe. And Rebbe says if a wooden splinter that flies off the tree when you're chopping it kills, then you get goals. The Chachamim say you get goals when the blade fell off the handle. And they're proving their point. That clearly in the Torah is talking about, because it says that's talking about a piece of wood flying off a tree. So ma eitz amar l'mala min ha'etz hamitpaka, eitz amar l'mata min ha'etz hamitpaka. On Rav Chia bar Hashem Rav Ushne mikrecha darshu. Both Rebbe and the Chachamim are darshaning from the same pasuk. It says v'noshala barzel min ha'etz. Rebbe Savar yesh aim lamasores. We follow the way something is written in the Torah, not the way it's read. And instead of using the word v'nashal, you could sell v'nishel, which means the barzel caused wood to fly off the tree. Hello? Hello? Rabbi Sarva Yeshem Lamasaras, Benishel Ksi. Rabbanan Sarva Yeshem Lamikra. No, it follows the way we read it. And the Masorah, the way we read it, is V'nashal, Karinan, which means the blade fell off the handle. So the Gemara asks, where do you see that Rebbe holds Yesh Aim Lamasaras? Rebbe Yesh Aim Lamasaras Virale? Vam Rav Yitzchak Rav Yosef, Vam Rav Yechnon, Rebbe, Rav Yehuda ben Roetz, Rabbi Shammai, Rav Shimon, Rabbi Kiva, Kulus Virlu, Yesh Aim Lamikra. We follow when we darshan about how something is written in a pasuk. How it's read, not how it's written. So the Gemara says, yeah, I did the Karmel Luvah. That's why the Gemara had to give me the second reasoning of Rebbe, because the first reason doesn't work. Rav Papa. Man deshad piece of dikla. A person throws a piece of dirt to a palm tree. The Asr Tami and some dates fall off. The Asr Tami you cut and the dates fall on somebody's head and kills it. So Banal Malchoikas to Rebbe Rabbanan. This is a Machlokas. According to Rebbe, he would go to Golas. According to Rabbanan, he would not. So the Gemara says, Pshita, I mean, look, why do you have to repeat this? Maybe I would say that maybe nobody holds he goes to Golas. because this is not direct kocho. It's an indirect koach. Kamash Malon, Kamash Malon, that it's not considered koach kocho. It's kocho mamish. The question is, the Rebbe, how would you? How Rebbe always is doing like an indirect, because he hits it with the axe and then a branch falls off. So if you're telling me that's also called koichod, so what is koyach koichod according to Rebbe? Can go into shada pisa umachi lagarma. You throw a piece of dirt and it hits like a leaf. The ozl gramo machai kapsa, and the leaf sort of hits the bunch of grapes, so it's twice removed. Then the dates fall and kill somebody. That would be koach kocho, would be an exception to golos. Mishnah. Hazorik Evan Rishus Harabim. Person throws a stone into the Rishus Harabim. It kills somebody. V'harag. Hareza gola. The person goes to golos. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer. If after the person throws the stone, a guy that's in the crowd sticks his head up, and then the stone hits the potter, that person would not get golos. Person throws a rock into his own chotzer, v'harag. If the person who got killed had permission to be there, then goylek. V'im lav ain't a go. Shneimar, v'asher yavo Yisraelu bayar. Ma'ayar, a forest. Rishus l'nizik l'mazik l'kanis l'sham. Both have the same equal permissions to be there. Av kol rishus l'nizik l'mazik l'kanis l'sham. The case of golus has to be both the victim and the perpetrator have to have the permission to be there. Yotza chotzer balabayis excludes courtyard that belongs to an owner. She'ein rishus l'nizik l'mazik l'kanis l'sham. The victim didn't have permission to go there. So if he goes there without permission and you throw a stone and you kill him, he doesn't go to golos. Just like you can go and when you go and chop a tree, you're choosing to do it. It's not a mitzvah to do it. I've called rishus. Yotza ha'ava makes beno. It's a mitzvah for a father to strike his son to go on the right derech. Or harav aroides talmido. The rebbeim used to use a stick. Or shliach bezdin, who's been authorized to give malchus. In those cases, if they kill the person, they don't go to golos because it's for mitzvah. Right? The Gemara, Rishus Harabim. I don't understand. Why, if I throw a rock into the Rishus Harabim and kill somebody, why should that person go to golos? It's not a shogeg. He's a mezi. He had a wall that was adjoining the Rishus Harabim, and he was demolishing the wall. And as he was demolishing, the stones killed somebody. Freit the Gemara, that's also amazing. He has to see what he's doing, make sure nobody's walking there before he destroys his wall. And for the Gemara, B'soiser is Kosel Balayla. He's doing it at night. Well, Balayla Nami Boilele Yune. People in Rishus Harabim walk at night. Should have checked it out. So B'soiser is Kosel Ashpa. The Ashpa is like a garbage dump. So hi Ashpa Hechidami. What exactly is the case? Ishchichi Borabim. If there's a lot of people there, Poshehu. Again, he's amazing. Iloshchicha Borabim. If there's not a lot of people there, then in Onisu. It also is Onis Rachmana Patre. Rav Papa Leitzricha Lashpa Srili Ponos Babalayla. This is a garbage dump that people would go there at night. Ve'ena Srili Ponos Babayom. It was rare that people would go there in the daytime. But there are people that occasionally go there to go to the bathroom. Poshea lo havi, he's not a poshea. Because I ain't actually punished by people, it wasn't made to do that in the daytime. But on Islami lo havi da ikka mikra divyasif. Sometimes there are people who go there. He should have taken into account. So he's treated like a shogig and he goes into goals. Well, Yezer ben Yaakov Oimer, Toner Rabbanon. It says, Umatzah Esrei Eyu Vameit. The metal flew off the handle and found his friend. Prat Lemisha Mamsias Atzmo. If the guy sort of stuck his head out from a crowd, he was Mamsi himself. He made himself available there. Mikanan Rolos ben Yaakov, Imishiyatzo Evim Yadu Hotzi Allah Es Roshov Kibla Potu. That's why Rabbi Eliezer in the Mishnah said he doesn't go to gold. Lemeimer Motzami Kormashma. Motzah means it has to be there even before any Maisa of Raminu. Somebody who sold an ancestral field called the Steachuza, and he has the schus to be poided. It says Visiga Yado Umatzah Kidei Gulaso. Prat Lemotzui. If he already had the money when he sold the field, then it's a different case. Shloyim kor rochel v'yigal b'koro. We don't want people to sell land in a distant place and redeem clothes, or vice versa. Bira, to sell bad land v'yigal b'yofer. Then he wouldn't have his permission to be zoicha to redeem the field. And what does it mean there, motzah? It's something that occurred after the effect, not that it was there before. So we want to say here as well, it has to be after the Maisa. Amarava. Each pasuk, each case, the stechuza, and the case of the axe, you have to see the inyan of the pasuk. Hasam inyan dikra, because it says umatza dumya v'hisiga yado. V'hisiga yado mehashta. That means if he has the money before, he wouldn't have sold the field in the first place. So here as well, when he threw the stone, the guy hadn't stuck his head out. Right? Because it was there all along. Then we said, Azark es Evan. It has to be a rishus, not a mitzvah. Why do you say that going into the forest to cut a tree was a rishus? Maybe it's a mitzvah. Dilma mechatovis eitzim sul sukkah. You're cutting wood for a sukkah, or mechatovis eitzim shel maracha, or the mizbeach needs wood, and you're going on to chop wood. It's also a mitzvah. Ilachi amrachmon legally. Maybe he should go out and golus even then. Amalei Rava imatza chatu v'nechatu. If a person needed wood for a sukkah or for the maracha, and he goes into the forest and he sees wood on the ground, he wouldn't chop wood. There's no mitzvah to chop the wood for a sukkah, right? Lav mitzvah shtanami, lav mitzvah. Not considered a regular mitzvah. It's a heichatim, so how to get to the mitzvah. But no, we said a father who strikes his son and kills his son, he doesn't have to go into golus. Or a Rav wrote his Talmid of Shliach Bezdin, who's carrying out Malkus. So lema kiven she'ilu gomir, like if the child was learning good, so then lav mitzvah, it would be no mitzvah for a father to strike him. Hoshtanami lav mitzvah. So even when he's striking him for a mitzvah, it should be considered a mitzvah. And therefore you would think a father would have to go into golus. So the Gemara says, Hosam avagav de gomer mitzvah. Even if the son is learning. It's good for a father to strike his son time to time. T'chsiv, yaser bincha v'yanichecha, v'itei marim lenefshech. If you don't strike your son periodically, it's going to be a problem. However, hadavam Rav Alav milsa hidami. He says I didn't say this correctly. Rather, we learn from the pasuk Vasher Yavo Esra'eu Bayar. The word Asher, Bayar, it's a choice. The boy ayil, the boy loyal. He can come into the forest or not come into the forest. He's not forced to come in there. Isal gedaitich, the mitzvah, misagiled lo ayil. He would have to come if it's a mitzvah. Are you telling me when a book says Asher, it has to do with choice? The boy hava? That means only if he wants to go in and not a mitzvah or something else. Elamayata, it says V'ish Asher Yitma, the lo yischata v'nechrasa. A man who was tamei and didn't go to the mikvah and went to the Beis Hamikdash gets kares. Now, according to the way we're learning, it's only if he wanted to become mitame. If he didn't, it's not a problem. No, it's a problem whether you're tamei and you walk in the mitzvah no matter what. So, what about meis mitzvah? If you're doing a mitzvah of burying somebody who doesn't have someone to bury him, it's impossible that you're not going to become tamei. Hachanami the potter, that if he walked on the Beis Hamikdash, it would be potter because it's based on his whether he had to or not had to. No, certainly it would be chayiv. More shiny awesome damar kra tamei yiyeh mikol makom. It's a special pasuk by Tuma that we don't care how you became tamei. If you became tamei, it's a problem. Freik the Gemara, the words tamei yiyeh boile. It's needed for something else. Look at the Tanya. Tamei yiyeh bala rabos tvul yom. Somebody already went to the mikveh that day. He's a tvul yom. He still gets kares if he goes to the Beis Hamikdash. Tumaso bo the rabos b'chosuk kippurim by a mitzora who needs kapor on the 8th day and he hasn't brought his korbanos yet. So he also gets kares. Armele anam od tumaso kamina. I'm learning from the words od tumaso. Since it says od tumaso bo, the od includes a case that no matter how he became tamei, be chayiv. However, ikedi masnala aha. Other people learn the sugya differently. It says becharish uvekatzir tishbos. If you plow or harvest during Shemitah, you have to stay away from both. You don't have to talk about doing it on Shemitah. Sharik vanemar. Sad chalosiz or karma chalosiz more. You have to stop plowing even Erev Shviyas. The kotzer shel Shviyas shiyatz l'motzei Shviyas. You can't do harvesting even motzei Shviyas. Rabbi Shmuel Macharish Rishus. You know what's prohibited? A choice plowing and a choice harvesting of kotzer Rishus. That you can't do on Shemitah. Yatzak tzara omer mitzvah. Harvesting the barley for the minchas ha'omer, that's a mitzvah. That's not prohibited on Shemitah. Who says it's a charisha of a rishus? Dilma charisha's omer the mitzvah. Maybe you're plowing in order to plant omer. Even so, the Torah said you can't do it on Shemitah. No. If you go into a field and you found that it's plowed, and you need to plant barley, ain't a chorish, you don't have to plow it. So it's lav mitzvah. A father who strikes his son does not go into golus. Or a Rav Aroidas Talmid, or Shliach Mes. Lav mitzvah. If the child had learned properly, so, and then if he strikes his son, it's not a mitzvah. So in every case, it's not a mitzvah. So like we said before, it's a mitzvah for a father to strike his son no matter what. Yasser bin Chavinechach. But Hadar Amar Rav Alav Milsi Amri, I didn't say it. Tzira Dumi the Charisha. Harvesting has to be like plowing. Machrisha Matzah Chorosh and Charush. Just like if you found a plowed furrow, you wouldn't have to plow it. It's ready to go. Av Tzira Nami Matzah Kotz and a Kotz, and then it's that type of Tzira that you don't have to do is what we're talking about. Isaac mitzvah, Matzah Kotz and a Kotz. If it's a mitzvah to do it, even if you found it harvested, you'd have to harvest again. Right? Mitzvah Likzer Lahavi. We're talking about always harvesting as a reshus, not as a mitzvah, in order to get golos. Mishnah, Av goyla yedei ben, ve'ben goyla yedei av. A father who kills his son, or a son who kills his father, nishtagda, hakol goylin, ayedei. Everybody goes into golos. All Jews by other Jews, v'yisrael gol ne'adeyim. Chutz miger toshav. A ger toshav, which will explain what that is, he doesn't go into golos. A ger toshav who kills another ger toshav, they go into golos. Hav gol yadei ben. That a father who strikes his son is pater migolos. We're talking about a case to Gomer where the son was learning. We just brought a pasuk from Mishlei that it's a mitzvah for the father to strike his son no matter what. Bishulya denagri. Here we're talking about fathers teaching him carpentry, and he wasn't learning properly. Well, Shulya denagri chayusi delamida. He's trying to teach him his way, something to make parnasa with. And it's a mitzvah for a father to do that. The Gomer umnesachrisi. He already has a different profession. So the father didn't have permission to strike him for that. Ve'aben gol yade'av. Reminu make nefesh prat lemake aviv. When you strike your father, you already get a death penalty. You can't go into golos. Amr Rav Kana loy kasha, har Reb Shimon har Rabban. So machlokes. When you strike, let's say, kill a father b'mezid, you have a punishment of, like any rotzech, b'sayif, with the sword, but v'chenek, because also you injured your father. And the halach is you get the worst punishment. So Reb Shimon holds chenek is chomer misayif. Chenek is more severe than the sword. So you would treat him with chenek. So shigigas sayif nit kapara. It's only as a killing somebody with a sayif where you have atonement through golos. But shigigas chenek, which is worse, lo nit kapara. You don't get kapara for golos. But Rabbanan Amri sayif chomer michenek. They all the sayif is worse. Therefore, hareg aviv shigasayif nit kapara. So they would hold he would go into golos. Rava Omar, that which we said, that someone who strikes his father doesn't go into golos. Rather, you made a wound in your father b'shogeg. You don't go into golos, even though there's a misa connected. You're put to death if you make a chavala on your father, and you might think b'shogeg nami legally. So if you did such an act b'shogeg, you would go into golos. Kamash Blandet. No, it's only if you kill somebody, not if you make a chavala. Then hakol golen al yidei Yisrael. Jews go into golos if they kill other Jews. Hakol golen al yidei Yisrael. L'suyamai. Who are we adding? L'suy eved v'kusi, and eved knani nakusi. If they kill a Yisrael, they go into golos. The Gemara says tanina lo. We learned this. The Ton Rabbanon. Eved v'kusi gola v'loka yidei Yisrael. V'chen Yisrael gola v'loka yidei kusi v'eved. So bishma eved v'kusi gola yidei Yisrael. That an eved and a kusi goes into golos. if he strikes a Yisrael. Gola diktole, if he killed somebody, and veloka dilatar, or he cursed somebody, and there's a law not to curse. Eli Yisrael goyla veloika dekusi, that a Jew can go into Golus or get Malchus if he strikes a kusi. How? Bishma gola diktole. Okay, if he kills a kusi, yes. And a local amai, how is he going to get Malchus? Dilataye? He was makalim v'nasiba amchalo saor. Like a kosher Jew, but a kusi is not. A kusi is over on different mitzvahs, so he's excluded from that. Amar Ravacha bar Yaakov, gon she'eid bo, the Yisrael testified against the kusi, and he's chayv malchus for that. V'huza, because he was made zonally. Now the kavosa gabi evet. You'd have to learn the same thing by the Evet Knani. Heid bo v'huzim. For Gemara, Evet bar Eidusu? But an Evet's not kosher, for Eidus. Very unusual case. The Kusi and the Evet were struck by a Jew if it was less than a Shavapruta worth of a strike, because you get Malchus for that. Okay, stop here. Tomorrow we'll learn at 4:00. Okay,
So,
is 4:30 better or 4:00? What's better?
I don't know what time is shul tomorrow night.
Late.
I don't have the
Our shul
calendar
is gonna
yet.
be 6:30.
What? How do you know that? Can I go look?
We've been davening mincha every Erev Shabbos at 6:30 every Shabbos.
Yeah, maybe
even,
this.
even though Shabbos doesn't start much later.
Even who said this Shabbos though?
What, you think it's gonna be later?
Let me just go look at the look. You have a second? I've got it. Can you wait a second? Ernie.
1 second, yes. 1 second, yes.
Okay, it may be 3 seconds, 5 seconds. Let me go.
I'm home either way. You could do it 4:30, whatever you guys want. Come here, I'll show the computer. Come. Thank you, my friend. Yeah. I'll get it.
Oh,
This is Gemma.
hi, Gemma.
Gemma Rose. That's Mari.
Gemma, hello.
Hello, wait, let me see that beautiful chart. Oh, hello.
Rachel Margalit.
Rachel Magalit.
Rachel Margalit. Who's Rachel Margalit?
Is a motic then. Hello, Ernie 6:30.
Okay, 4:30.
4:30. No, I don't know. Okay.
Okay, let's do 4:00. I'm home. 4:00 is fine.
Yeah. 4 o'clock's fine because I'm gonna have a ton of these, everybody
Okay.
around for Shabbos for us.
Did Leora come back?
Yeah, Leora's back. They were here
Okay,
last
good.
night. We had a barbecue. We had a lot of people by a
Okay,
barbecue.
good.
What are you doing tonight?
We've had a barbecue every night too.
Yeah, what are you doing tonight? Barbecue.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Mincha. Last
Bye.
night, Yaakov and Daniel and Gemma came to the davening. They made
Yeah.
remember you came to the minyan, Gemma?
Where by Mark?
By Mark.
He's 7:10 or something. What time is it?
7:10.
Okay, I'll see you guys there later.
See you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye. So 4 o'clock?
Yeah.